My name is Maxwell Chikumbutso. God has given me something that is going to change the world.
The world told him it was impossible. Scientists scoffed, corporations dismissed him, and even his own life was threatened. But Maxwell Chikumbutso, a high school dropout from Zimbabwe, refused to be silenced. He dared to dream of a future powered by clean energy, a future where Africa leads the way in technological innovation.
And guess what? That dream has become a reality in 2025.
Generator and even a helicopter that ran on radio frequencies, a true free energy device that keeps batteries consistently charged. It took me several months to find him, but when I did, it blew my mind.
I knew it would be complicated because these things always are. Going to Zimbabwe, the Ethiopian airline that we had tickets with had just had a major crash, and a cyclone had just ravaged the area, leaving hundreds dead.
Well, we're sitting in a hotel in Harare, Zimbabwe this morning. We're here today to start the vetting process and find out, okay, what's real? Over 95% of the time, these things aren't what they claim to be. This time we took engineer Nils Rognerud to assist with the vetting. When Nils and I arrived and met Maxwell, I was very impressed with just what a gentle, true-seeming soul he was. And then the next morning, we went to see the device, and he gave us a full tour. I was practically ecstatic. It was such a beautiful, elegant device.
Welcome back. Hello, I am Dr. Cool Autofix. In today's very video edition here, we're going to be running into the rabbit hole, and I'm going to tell you the reason why I'm 1000% confident that the invention of my brother from another mother is working 100% and it's real. It is not hoax. A lot of people have been posting a fake debunk video about this very technology that have zero carbon footprint, and the most impressive part of it is that it runs literally on nothing. Now, a lot of you guys have watched a lot of videos before this very moment here, but I guarantee you that after watching this very video from beginning to the end today, you will understand why I am 100% confident that this very invention from Maxwell Chikumbutso, an African inventor from Zimbabwe, is making headlines. And you also get to understand the reason why the Western world don't want to publicize or want to give a publicity to this very video here, because there is a way they prefer to show Africa to the world. There is a false narrative about Africa they want to spread to make people hate Africa, to make people believe that nothing good can come from Africa. But in this very video today, you'll be shocked beyond every imagination and measure, especially most of you guys who are white guys who are still feels and ingrained in skepticism. Yes, it's true that the promises which Maxwell Chikumbutso claims that his car and technology offers is too good to be true. Why? Because our heart has been so poisoned with dependency on different promises of technology that really don't stand up to its taste. The EVs that are a bunch of range anxiety toys, or the internal combustion engines which have been trying to be phased out by government of the US and the Western world due to environment concerns. But the way this brother here, Maxwell Chikumbutso, brought out this invention in 2025 with two prototypes, collaborating with KIV, is shockingly brutal and aggressive. And that is what the white people, the Western world, doesn't want, because currently it is shaking up the entire Western world economy as I speak to you. And as I'm also talking to you right now, this car has been launched. This car is going on in a massive production scale. You will find the information in this very video about people who are making orders. As a matter of fact, I should have been getting my own copy, so I will make a review and drive it before you guys. However, I don't think anything is out of proportion right now. So without further ado, let me let you into the video so you can see how the American elite universities and their dignitaries, professors and engineers went and test this technology and certify, not only going there to test it, they certify this guy that his technology is authentic, even though that they were having some skepticism in the first place, but at last it worked out just like the guy claimed. Now, as for the radio frequency, it is not just the normal radio transmitter. This energy is invisible energy, which is only God in heaven can explain. It's a radio wave device, some sort of frequency that is existing everywhere in the environment. This is so abundant that everywhere you go, this very frequency is available. It is not being transmitted by your mast or your communication frequency generation. No, it is free, abundant, and it's pure. It's unpollutant. It's not making any damage. And also inside this very video, we discover that he has built a power station which he proposed to use to power up to a community of 100 houses or 300 houses. Although he have encountered challenges from the previous president who imprisoned him because he wanted to seize his invention, but now he's out, and in 2025, things are changing, and this groundbreaking technology is shaking the core and a heartbeat of the Western nation. So it's time for Africa to take a lead.
What we're looking at is called the green power off-grid machine. It is 0.5 megawatt, and we are relying with the radio frequency. We harness a radio frequency, convert it into pure energy that is useful. It is called a microsonic energy device. A microsonic energy device, it is the generator in this machine.
For people who are not familiar with this, 0.5 megawatt, how much will that power in terms of a house or a community or what?
We're talking of about 300 standard house homes, yeah,
Okay.
that you can power with one machine.
So there's no oil burning, there's no fires going on or anything, so where's the energy coming from?
We're harnessing it straight away from the natural energy that God has just put in the on our earth. Yeah, the radio frequency.
So nothing unusual, but the main point is that a meter away there's no frequencies being transmitted from a microwave tower next to the park we're standing in.
It's a poignant day for us here, and amidst the excitement of seeing this for the first time, a couple of strangers showed up on the site where we were being shown these devices, and Maxwell, the inventor, took us aside as soon as he could and said, these guys are from the government, and I didn't know they were coming. Unfortunately, we're truly concerned about this gentleman, and we're just going to take every precaution that we can to keep ourselves safe, to keep him safe, and to keep this knowledge safe.
The microphone we had on Maxwell picked up the conversation that he had with one of the officials. So we quickly got the tape translated and found out that the government official was promising Maxwell a power purchase agreement where the government would pay him for generating energy for the country. It was good corroboration that they believed he had what he claimed, although Maxwell didn't trust him because the government had already put him in prison in an effort to steal his technology.
Become a buzz phrase of late. The energy form has been touted as the alternative to hydroelectricity in the wake of climate change effects on power generation. Zimbabwe, which has been battling power shortages, is keen on massively investing in solar. But what if there is another alternative that may revolutionize the country's energy system? The United States-based Zimbabwean Maxwell Chikumbutso has set up a 50-kilowatt green generator in Harare, where it is powering 10 houses.
Thrive 2 brings viewers behind the scenes with the people and innovations that have the power to transform life for everyone. And what's interesting about this documentary is they feature United States-based Zimbabwean inventor Maxwell Chikumbutso.
We are launching a documentary on a Saturday in the United States of America in California, which is called Thrive, What It Takes.
The documentary follows a journey across the globe investigating the most promising solutions in energy, health, and consciousness, while unpicking the underlying science, principles, and strategies that make them possible. One of Chikumbutso's inventions is advancing the proven ability to generate electricity from radio frequency. With this, he designed and produced the world's first ever green power generator.
I have to keep on fighting and make sure that one day everyone will have free energy.
The gifted innovator also designed and built an electric-powered vehicle, hybrid helicopter, and a drone among some of his groundbreaking innovations in the high-tech global entrepreneur ecosystem. Recently, Chikumbutu developed a prototype automated disinfecting machine to help fight the coronavirus pandemic. But it is his green generator that will shift the way science is working and revolutionize the country's energy system. And tonight, he will be demonstrating his 50-kilowatt green generator in Harare, where it is powering 10 houses. The demonstration will be broadcast live around the world as part of this documentary, which will premiere in the United States on Saturday. Reporting for ZTN News, I'm Howard Musonza in Harare.
A warm welcome back. Taking it up now from the capital. Many thanks to Marilyn Gwenya there. In our science and technology feature, Zimbabwe made a breakthrough in the use of microsonic energy to generate electricity at a high scale. We unpack where we explore the microsonic energy device, the OR Green generator invented by Maxwell Chikumbutso. Theophilus Chuma unpacks this for us.
It's an invention that has made headlines across the globe, attracting the attention of major scientific brains in the United States of America. The green generator, an invention designed and constructed by Zimbabwean inventor Maxwell Chikumbutso, is the first of its kind, using radio frequency to generate electricity at high scale.
So we harness radio frequencies. These are natural radio frequencies that we harness. Then we convert it through the components that are in the microsonic energy device. Like I said before, 70% of the components inside this device are tailor-made. You cannot get them anywhere in the world. The current comes out as a DC current. It goes to the down converter and the DC controller. Then from there, the computer does the work. The microcontroller fine adjusts and it tells the microsonic energy device what voltage has to go to the inverter. Then on the inverter side, that is the component that we use, the part that we use to change the current to alternating current. This is the current that powers all the lights that is used everywhere. So from the inverter, we have got the step-up transformer to say, which is an AVR. This is the bottom part. It's air-cooled.
Decades ago, one great scientist, Nikola Tesla, attempted the same innovation, but faced hurdles. Maxwell has become the first person in living history to make a major breakthrough, and for his efforts, American firms are featuring his invention on a documentary that is celebrating this great mind.
We believe that we didn't violate the second law of energy in thermodynamics, but we have managed to make a new discovery, new formulas of maths. How that law is still work, but what we have done, we have managed to refine through the machine. As you can see, as small as it is, we can power everything, but we are not damaging anything.
The green generator may very well become the answer to power challenges facing not only Zimbabwe, but other nations across Africa and beyond. Maxwell is already planning to utilize his invention to benefit rural communities in Zimbabwe.
We'll give the blueprints for free. We'll identify the communities, the people who can do, so that we can just provide them with the skill, and they can design, they can construct their own machines and use. But we are looking at those who are disadvantaged.
Amazingly, Maxwell never trained formally in electronics or engineering.
A brief trip into the future with inventor Maxwell Chikumbutso. He's claiming a scientific breakthrough with this green energy technology, an electric car which he says converts radio frequencies into energy.
the powertrain. We did it in-house, which makes it the first electric vehicle in the world that drives without needing recharging systems. On the greener power off-grid machine, it's very unique. For the first time, energy is being generated using a radio frequency and without moving paths.
Chikumbutso is not the typical scientist. He dropped out of school aged 14 and says he's developed his blueprints through research and visions from God. A showroom in Harare showcases his prototypes. A helicopter that operates using any one of the 5 fuels, including paraffin, a drone and a household transformer that he says can multiply power 100-fold. But he says breaking his disruptive technology into the world has not been easy. He's failed to patent his work.
That's why we end up finding nuclear scientists, electromagnetic professors, so that they can assist us on the patent process. But as you are aware that in patents, anything that violates the laws of physics is not an industrial applicable solution. They classify it as a perpetual motion device.
Luis Kupenala, a South African-based Angolan businessman, has poured millions into the project, but now believes it's time to commercialize. He says the Angolan government and a Brazil private energy player have signed up to buy some of their products, but that other investors don't generally believe anything credible can come out of Africa.
We just sell from our skin color. We don't believe on ourselves. But obviously, a new generation has another responsibility to change this kind of paradigm to another level, whereby we have to capitalize on our abilities in Africa.
Zimbabwean scientists who spoke to the SABC also expressed skepticism, but Chikumbutso brushes the naysayers aside. He says he's determined to ensure that his God-given gift brings energy to light up the continent and put Zimbabwe on the technological map. Shingai Nyoka, SABC News, Harare, Zimbabwe.
Galaxies and the cosmos itself, like the magnet on your refrigerator, are open systems. The successful devices we are seeing are specifically designed as open, not isolated systems. So the limitations of the first law don't apply when it comes to accessing energy from one realm to another. I learned about a young man in Africa who claimed to have built a car, a generator, and even a helicopter that ran on radio frequencies, a true free energy device that keeps batteries consistently charged. It took me several months to find him, but when I did, it blew my mind. This time we took engineer Nils Rognerud to assist with the vetting. When Nils and I arrived and met Maxwell, I was very impressed with just what a gentle, true-seeming soul he was. And then the next morning, we went to see the device, and he gave us a full tour. I was practically ecstatic. It was such a beautiful, elegant device.
What we're looking at is called the green power off-grid machine. It is 0.5 megawatts, and we are relying with the radio frequency. We harness a radio frequency, convert it into pure energy that is useful. It is called a microsonic energy device. A microsonic energy device, it is the generator in this machine.
For people who are not familiar with this, 0.5 megawatt, how much will that power in terms of a house or a community or what?
We're talking of about 300 standard house homes,
Okay.
that you can power with one machine.
So there's no oil burning, there's no fires going on or anything, so where's the energy coming from?
We're harnessing it straight away from the natural energy that God has just put in the on our earth. The radio frequency.
So nothing unusual, but the main point is that a meter away there's no frequencies being transmitted from a microwave tower next to the park we're standing in.
It's a poignant day for us here, and amidst the excitement of seeing this for the first time, a couple of strangers showed up on the site where we were being shown these devices, and Maxwell, the inventor, took us aside as soon as he could and said, "These guys are from the government," and I didn't know they were coming. Unfortunately, we're truly concerned about this gentleman, and we're just going to take every precaution that we can to keep ourselves safe, to keep him safe, and to keep this knowledge safe.
The microphone we had on Maxwell picked up the conversation that he had with one of the officials. So we quickly got the tape translated and found out that the government official was promising Maxwell a power purchase agreement where the government would pay him for generating energy for the country. It was good corroboration that they believed he had what he claimed. Although Maxwell didn't trust him because the government had already put him in prison in an effort to steal his technology.
Big Blue started at 4:36 p.m. We're here with Maxwell, and the test is starting.
Once we arrived on site, our goal for the vetting was to establish that the device could power a welding machine, which uses a lot of electricity very quickly, for long enough that it couldn't be running on batteries alone.
So you were asking where the energy came from. You mentioned the other day the sun, but it's not like solar energy.
No,
right?
it's not. We're not using solar energy because this one is not even affected with clouds, light, and things like that. It just works.
So the energy, the radio frequencies that you're harnessing, are they there in space, in the field all the time?
Yes, they are. From the first day we started to test the machine, we have been analyzing and we saw that the radio frequency is there. But one thing that we want to know for sure is it alien or is it man-made from another planet or is it from God? That's where we need, I think, scientific people to define exactly. But we know the radio frequency, we have everything.
If it's still a fully charged battery, the test is successful.
It's not screws.
Oh, that's 217.
0.9.
That's perfect.
We get it.
So that's the 18 battery.
Yeah, that's the 18 batteries.
So that's higher than the nominal voltage.
Dude! Wow!
So much.
That is awesome.
That's the 18 4-volt batteries. So it has higher voltage.
Thank you.
Give us 2 thumbs up.
Thank you so much.
One final check of the battery voltage revealed a shocking result. Not only had the machine outlasted the expected battery life, but the batteries were still fully charged. This proved that the device was being powered from an unknown energy source.
Thank you.
This is one of the happiest days of my life, and I am so proud of this man who has gone through so much. He's listened to the voice of the divine coming through him, and he's done whatever it takes to bring this through for humanity. So congratulations, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Ah. Now we're gonna get you well.
The test we did yesterday is historic. I still am digesting it because it basically means the end of fossil fuels.
A lot of you folks who are coming across my channel for the first time are a little bit confused. Why am I so strong? Why am I having a stronger voice supporting this very guy, Maxwell Chikumbutso? I know him from nowhere, but I have analyzed things. I've seen this man. It's not the first time I'm seeing this white man on the screen here who traveled all the way from US to go and test the technology from Maxwell Chikumbutso. That was about some years ago. And guess what? One of the groundbreaking invention of Maxwell Chikumbutso, which this very man here tested, is not even the SATE-KIV. There was no SATE-KIV prototype that's fully functional and running as Maxwell Chikumbutso present in 2025. There was no superbike. There was only a very small car, which he just branded SATE on it, and a helicopter. And after that, he showed some generator, a very big power generator that doesn't stop running. And he also showcased a battery that doesn't run out of juice. Guess what? This very white guy here, I think is from Elite University, came all the way to come and test that battery. And guess the kind of test he actually tested the battery. He uses the battery to perform a welding. And while he was performing the welding, the battery power could not drop. And it was something miraculous he couldn't believe with his eyes. I guess he's the purest one of the white folks. The rest are just, a lot of them, rest are just like butchers. I mean, you find this kind of game-changing invention, and you want to terminate the inventor who invented instead of to embrace him and award him for it, to encourage others. I thought we are harboring dreamers of great change makers and not killers. So that is when I started following this guy up concerning this self-charging. And I started reasoning out of the context of possibility of fitting alternator into cars to make them charge on the go. But a lot of people didn't give it attention, right? So when he came out in 2025 with a prototype, not just with the prototype, the two mid-size SUV, Sate Kaivi, which that's a combination of him, he is the Sate Technology, he worked with Sate Technology Group, then the Kai, Chinese automotive industry, big automotive industry, merging together. So Chinese provide the automotive mobility, while Sate, which is Maxwell Chikumbutso, installs his self-charging Microsonic device that powers the car infinitely. So in saying that, it wasn't enough, but him presenting it to explain how it works to the current president of Zimbabwe, it's no lie, it's no scam. So where you white folks who are so filled with skepticism as to start branding him a scam is my concern. That is why I really distress about it, that it's a sign of failure and loser, that when someone defeats you in a context fight, branding him a cheat and a winner makes you a weaker person and a loser. So this is the generator as of that time. This is the white man who came to inspect it. And I'm going to bring out the clip about the barrier that he was testing in my channel here so that you guys can take a look at it. My ultimate concern is not even to convince you guys that it works, right? Because I know it's already working. In Africa, there are scams everywhere, in China, in every part of Africa, and every part of the world. But African ones seem to be more louder, because when any negative things happens in Africa, you find it on CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, First Vantage, all the media outlets. But if there is any positive things that happens in Africa that is groundbreaking of this huge proportion, the media don't talk about it. Now let's take a look at BBC. When BBC want to write a story about Africa, a lot of you guys already know the narrative. They go to the poorest and the most remote village and start showing people who have been, who have been tortured by hunger, who are eating like their early men. So that is the kind of terrible narrative which they feed the media, how they want people to perceive Africa. So how a lot of you guys who are expecting to see this on media are not seeing it? You're not going to see it because it's a groundbreaking technology that is shutting down the entire Western world as we speak. They are in panic. The energy sector, the automotive industry, and a lot of other sectors. The solar panels, you name them. So that is why I'm so confident about this guy, and I know is 1000% real and functional. Because in Africa, the last person you want to mess up with is number one citizen, which is Mr. President. All the dignitaries there, all his advisors, the security, and you want to go and scam him. I don't know how you white folks think. It is disheartening and concerning that you guys can't really analyze things critically and draft out if there is lies or truth in such kind of situation. You can't detect an element of truth when someone is making such moves. It's disheartening and really concerning. It's unbelievable. Yo, it's Dr. Cool. Welcome guys to another episode. In today's very episode here, I want to be brutally honest as possible. I want to shine a light on things that's currently going on in the world right now that is shaking up the whole Western nation. Kind of make them running around like kind of mice, A lot of you guys are going to feel very offended about this, but this is the reality. You are going to choose. Should you choose to accept it or reject it, will determine where your position is going to be in the world global map of technological advancement. Africa just roasted a guy from Africa by name Maxwell Chikumbutso. This guy here just destroyed 300 years of physics laws and techno babble. That's shockingly, right? And the fun part and concerning part, automatically the white people just labeled him, just branded him a scam. That is so pathetic. I mean, how would you just do things like that and expect people to fold hands and watch you? Yes, the technology which this guy invented is huge. Yes, it is mind-blowing. Yes, it is mind-boggling. Yes, it is groundbreaking. Yes, it is so disruptive. Yes, it is unlike anything ever seen in the entire world. Yes, but scam? No, not even close. So why would you guys think about things like that and expect people to just fold their hands and watch? This is terrible. I haven't come across something like that in my entire life. I mean, When someone beats you in a context, you started branding him, that's a sign of a loser. I mean, that's a sign of weakness. You should buckle up. This is a situation where this very man here is serving you with a red pill or blue pill. Should you decide to take the blue pill, then you join the mainstream controlled by Matrix. You join the oil industry and mogul and the bigger corporations who are designing products to keep you dependent, and you keep cycling and cycling, working and using your money to pay off whatever they're using, pay for utility bills, the cars and all that. But imagine the world with, wait, I'm going too far. Wait, why am I in a rush? Let me explain something very, very, very disheartening here. It's even shut down the Western world to the point that they are so jealous that they couldn't even allow their media to debate about this groundbreaking technology. That is not enough. You know, in Africa, we still perceive the technologies which the Western world has brought to our community as witchcraft. But this witchcraft, we call it, is in a positive way. It's a sign of admiration. And I think the white people actually knows this, and they still want us to perceive them like gods. No. Now, let's take a look at some facts here, which we're going to look at, because I don't just want to say something and vanish. No, I want to keep this conversation alive, and I want to keep it positive. Is the claim which my brother Maxwell Chikumbutso made, is it for real or not? It is real. Now, let's break it down. For a lot of people who are so fronting, he didn't prove how it works. That's like, that's like a thief. That's like trying to steal his invention without telling people you want to steal his invention. Have Tesla today explained to us how his SpaceX is working, or Neuralink is working, or the technology is working? The answer is no. Has Jeff Bezos told us how he made his money? No. What about Warren Buffett? No. How the German Mercedes told us how they make the mighty technology which they have? No. Have BMW revealed the secret to their technology, to a high performance car technology, or Audi? The answer is no. Why would Africa expose their own technology because of white people's skepticism? I don't think it is a word of a gamble. I don't even think it is an option. We are not trying to please you guys here. We are trying to have that level playing field where we can play together and we see who is better and we adapt to who is better. That's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a racial conflict. It's not supposed to be a racial discrimination. It's not supposed to be citing based on colors. No. It is not a situation where the level playing field or who works better has to be determined by the color of his skin. It's not the color of his skin that's going to be determine the content of his heart or his creation. But that is where the skepticism is pushing it. Because let's break things into fraction. There is energy existing in radio wave that is buzzing your radios. Isn't that true? Yes. And if you search across the YouTube right now, you're going to see a lot of people who are harvesting energy from radio wave. It is micro, it is in nano, yes, powering up LED. However, I think you white people couldn't just believe that a black guy from nowhere, a school dropout, can just come since 1990s. He's been working on it 2003 to be able to find a device, to engineer a device which is divinely inspired to be able to make all that micro nano into millions of multiplication, amplification, enough to power a vehicle, enough to run a certain kind of gadget indefinitely. How many white people have been able to explain to us how the Egyptian pyramid, which the black people built, is? They have never been, right? But they are very quick to sell a lot of technology to us because those ones requires money to buy it. However, when this groundbreaking technology by Maxwell Chikumbutso hits the airwaves, it becomes a talk of the town, and you can see the handwriting of jealousy and envy in a lot of white people's channel that don't want to talk about it. The media, the mainstream media controlled by the Western nation, don't want to talk about it, not even to talk about debating about it. But we African, we know it is true because there are some certain criteria and some elements when we start seeing it, even on the television, we can be able to distinguish between fact and fiction. However, I don't know the kind of food most of you guys in the West eat a lot that you can be able to distinguish between when something is real, when someone is trying to fool you, and you have to run into the safe hiding or the umbrella, or the comfort umbrella of skepticism, destructive skepticism. This is not a healthy skepticism. This is not a skepticism that is based on fact and figures, that is here to debate about the reality or false, but a dream killer skepticism. All right? And that is the problem we have. That is something that we don't want to believe. Now, how about this? How about you guys go on your way day by day and drive your skepticism, Tesla, Mercedes EQ, BYD, and send all your billions and millions to bigger corporations, while we Africa, we enjoy the self-charging car, self-charging and self-power generator, and all the beautiful, marvelous inventions from Maxwell Chikumbutso, which is hitting the airwave right now. So I don't think this is something we should start, the Western people should start crying about. There has been a lot of industrial revolution, innovations, and invention that put Africa into being dependency on the Western world as it is today. When you come to software development, AI, can anyone believe that AI is science? Up to today, the mystery behind the AI invention and development is still a mystery that the Western people has not explained in a nutshell to Africa. But did we canvass hate against it? The answer is no. Did we call the Western people a scam because we couldn't understand their technology? The answer is no. Because they couldn't explain it, or because they couldn't allow us to have that technology to be able to reproduce it. What about the PCB printing? What about a lot of things in education sectors that were hidden from Africa? Did we brand them a scam and thief and all that? That is not proven. The answer is no. So I don't get where the hatred is coming from. I don't get where the bizarre skepticism, witch hunting skepticism is coming out from, aside envy, jealousy, and you name it. So it is up to you guys to embrace it and look for how to merge with it, and the life becomes better for both Africa and the rest of the world.
One of the painful realities I have seen in energy is this is a very dangerous game altogether. Yeah, especially free energy, because you know, as I said, they can try to kill it using professional people, and that has happened to me. I went through a lot, poisons, like I'm saying right now. I'm fighting it. They come to you, then they said, no, you mustn't do this. When they see that you're not giving up, then they can just frame you. Then they can say, no, you've done ABC. My prayer is this thing must see the light of the day.
Oh, thank you very much. The electric vehicle invention, it is an invention that we took from the greener power of grid machine. The greener power of grid machine is a machine that birthed the Microsonic energy device invention. Later on, we felt that since now we have got a perpetual generator, why can't we borrow the technology and integrate it into a vehicle, then see how the vehicle operates. That was the birth of the electric vehicle. That became the first electric vehicle in the world that doesn't need any external recharging. Meaning to say it is like a moving generator. You can take it to your rural area, then you can even draw energy from the vehicle to power your house. Unlike what is happening in the electric vehicles which are there, where you have to connect it to your house to recharge the batteries overnight. But the electric vehicle is a different technology altogether. We are using radio frequencies. So the electric vehicle and the greener power of grid machine, they share the same common invention, which is called Microsonic energy device, a device that harnesses radio frequencies and change it into direct energy. But that is useful.
What does perpetual energy mean and involve?
Okay, I think in a simple language, perpetual motion, it means something that keeps on running. There are a number of perpetual motion energy devices. Okay, let me try to break it down. According to the World Intellectual Property Office, a perpetual motion device, it is a device that uses any type of energy for a certain period of time. That's how they classify them. When we look at the greener power off-grid machine, they tried to classify it under the perpetual motion energy device, but we later saw that it doesn't fall under, because a lot of perpetual energy devices that are there, they've got a certain time they will work, and usually they use much energy to generate less energy. That's why they were known as unconventional energy solutions that cannot be used even to power big things. The greener power off-grid machine does it in a different way. This is the first technology of its kind that uses less energy to generate huge energy. Therefore, we are deemed as violating the second law of energy in thermodynamics. As we were taught at school that energy is direct proportional. If you need 2, you have to put 2. The greener power off-grid machine doesn't work in such a way. That's why we have said we have discovered new formulas, being both in maths and in physics, on how best we can explain energy. Yeah.
And maybe now that we're talking about that machine, I want you to delve into it, what we saw you launch on Friday. What is that machine and what can it do?
Okay, that machine, we gave it a name, greener power off-grid machine. The name greener, it came because the technology is green energy. No emissions, no consumables, nothing is dangerous on the machine, because what we're simply doing is we're harnessing a radio frequency, natural radio frequency, converted into energy. Therefore, we're not even producing anything that is toxic or dangerous to humans. A greener power off-grid machine, it is a breakthrough to science, to say. When it was launched on Saturday, the Thrive team in the United States of America, we met them sometime last year but one, and they sent their scientists from the United States of America to come and validate, to do some tests to see if the machine it is working, it is doing what we said it was doing. After that, they gave us a scientific report which stated that the technology was novel and it was genuine. Later on, they decided to do a documentary. They decided that I must feature in their documentary, Thrive 2, what it takes. Then it was launched last Saturday. So this is the first time in the world to have such kind of a technology that work in such a way. Our mission.
Whether I like it or not, the people who are actually battling this in the comment section are people who are fragments. The giant, bigger corporations have been controlling people's life in a different ways, and giant corporations that are making people to be dependent on their product. Just imagine your smartphones. You can't use a smartphone for 3 good hours with the data on without looking for charger. It is so disheartening. It is so pitiful. You can't use a laptop the same way. You can't use your electric cars. They are all power dinosaurs, and there have never been a solution as groundbreaking as Maxwell Chikumbutso invention. And yet, instead of to embrace it with happiness, welcome it with 2 hands open, instead, jealousy, hatred, you name it, all mannerless sort of skepticism is crawling out of nowhere because a black man invented it. If he would have been a white guy, it would have been a different story. Tell me about the dream of the greener zero emission footprint, zero carbon footprint. Isn't it the same thing? Isn't it the mission? But right now, this invention has actually brought it to limelight, and everybody's losing their mind. So, what about the secret in metallurgy, metal, aluminum extraction, bauxite extraction. It is still a mystery. It is still something that has never been explained to Africa in a nutshell. What about the secret of chips, nanotechnologies? Has it been explained to Africa in a nutshell? The answer is no. But is Africa getting mad about it? The answer is no. Africa has to live with it. Africa has to condense it. Africa has to absorb that shock until this very day. 2017, the US poisoned this guy when he went to get a patent for this very invention. They dismissed it, saying that this is just a perpetual motion. However, they couldn't stand poisoning him and his team, and luckily, by God's grace, Maxwell Chikumbutso didn't die of that poison, but some of his team died along the way. In 2025, the guy disappeared after that time. I think about 2 years ago, he came back and invented another, just about the same technology. He brought another technology, self-powered, that was able to power the television. He showcased it. People were seeing it, live demonstration, which a lot of people are looking for in the car these days. They were seeing it, performing this very groundbreaking technology, the demo, and still they couldn't believe it. They say it's unreal. And you know, a lot of people, psychopaths, are gonna go in the comment section and say the biggest trick in free energy is knowing how to hide the barrier. You know, that could be some true in the fake one, but not in this real one. You know why I say this is real? I have technically analyzed this technology and analyzed the dignitaries behind it. You know, one of the biggest scam you can ever think about, one of the biggest impossible scam to pull off or fraud to pull off, is a guy out of nowhere, nobody, coming to fool the #1 citizen of the country. Now, a lot of you guys will not understand this. Maxwell Chikumbutso is a guy from nowhere and nobody in Zimbabwe. And do you know who is the #1 person in Zimbabwe? Is Mr. President. Mr. President of Zimbabwe, who later called him back from US to come and establish his business in Zimbabwe and start funding the program after knowing what this very groundbreaking technology could do, how it could position Africa globally, and how it could eradicate poverty and a lot of epileptic power sector that is going on, power shenanigans and politics that is creating instabilities in African continent. And he decided to give the guy a shot. Do you know what it means? Just like, let's take for instance, the whole chess game is playing out in 2025. You see Donald Trump coming to recruit Elon Musk. And I wonder what the media is going to say when they say that Elon Musk and Donald Trump is a fraud. You know, Elon Musk is a fraud because Donald Trump is recruiting him. Or they forget the fact that Donald Trump is trying to use Elon Musk for the betterment of America, and they start calling Elon Musk a fraud. Have any of you guys noticed the discussion and the question that was thrown to Elon Musk about how he's what is behind his inspiration for his inventions? And he says it's divine. The same thing was asked about Maxwell Chikumbutso, and he said divine, but people can live with it. You can see how the people choose whom they accept his own narrative and whom they did not. Now, up to this very moment as I'm talking to you guys, have you guys ever taken a look at the jet engines, the Boeing engines, the airplane engines? You can see it, but you can't believe it. If you believe it, then I don't believe you. It is something that is still a marvel, something that is still groundbreaking up to this very moment. Have you actually asked yourself how the person who thought about the first car, have you ever thought about how people feel when Carl Benz invented the first car? internal combustion engines. It still remains a mystery. It still remains something that a lot of people, that is so fascinating in African world today. Now, don't even get me started with the science community that is full of skepticism. Don't even get me started with the white people are now gaslighting and calling Maxwell Chikumbutso a scam. This is disrespectful. You know the reason why? Because there is that saying in the Bible, does anything good come out of Nazareth? You know where Nazareth is? Nazareth is Africa. So typically saying, does anything good come from Africa? That is the perception the white people have, because African has been abandoned in terms of technology, and the Western politics couldn't allow Africa to breathe or to provide a equal opportunity and a level playing field where these both people, two individuals, can play competitively without having some sort of unequal opportunity where one plays better and the other, where you give the other persons a higher energy density and give the other person a lower energy density, when there is no partiality but a fair playing ground. That is exactly what is going on right now. In Africa, this is huge. Whether Europe like it or not, whether America like it or not, this technology has come to stay. And it's up to us, brothers and sisters, for us to embrace it.